Ladies and gentlemen, the world's #1 sports and recreation podcast, Cheap MFing Heat. I am your forever 24/7 champion, Peter Rosenberg, and joining us from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is the physically large Statguy Greg.
Yo, what's going on, P? WrestleMania weekend's finally over, huh?
I think it's officially over.
Okay.
I think it's officially over. Dip has left the hotel bar. Listen, it's a good thing. You know what I mean? We've moved on to New Orleans, which is, I love New Orleans generally.
Mm-hmm.
For this, it's still probably one of my least favorite options. I guess my least favorite options would be this. Vegas maybe number one. No, New York number one.
New York is yeah.
New York's number one. MetLife is...
Because we end up having to go to New Jersey, which is...
Who wants to do that?
Feels like a scam. Feels like a bit of a bait and switch.
Well, but here's the thing. What you know what the real problem is? The real problem with MetLife is it's not New Jersey or New York. It's just
Right.
its own. It's just its own place.
Mm-hmm.
Like if New Jersey, if for real it was in some area of New Jersey, you know what I mean? Like that, like a hotel and an air, and you just went there. I love New Jersey. You know, a lot of great towns. Zach and Goldstein, they live in a lovely little town in New Jersey.
Yeah.
But the Meadowlands is just repug. So that's low on my list. LA is not high on my list either.
I like the actual stadium, SoFi. We haven't been there yet. SoFi.
Have we?
No, we did SoFi. WrestleMania Hollywood was in SoFi.
Mania Hollywood was already SoFi.
Yeah.
Yo, did that year happen?
That happened 2 years ago.
That was 23.
That was 23.
But let's move on to sunnier days, and let's bring in today's special guest, filling in for Dipperstein, which is listen, of all the size 8 shoes to fit into, these are some of the hardest ones in the business. But he's going to try. The great O'Shea Jackson Jr., ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
I like that shirt. Shout out to Alex King.
Shay, what's popping, bruh?
Man, I'm out here, bro. Wrestling just has me in a chokehold, no pun intended. I've been everywhere.
Go ahead, take us through it. We know you were doing shows, you were doing live shows at WrestleMania weekend. Where else have you been all over the place?
Well, my boy Paul Hauser invited me to MLW, and I had to go, see my boy Tom Pestock, formerly known as Baron Corbin. Now I think he's Bishop Dyer. And so, hit up MLW. They took care of me, and then after that, it was finding a place in Vegas. I had to take my sister plus my brother and security and my podcast partner. So I had to pull the black book out a little bit, make sure we got rooms. And we made it, did Stand and Deliver at 9 a.m. after getting to Vegas Friday night. Driving there, but luckily I just, when you got a rapper dad, you can steal his tour bus. So
No,
I took that.
Wait, your dad owns the tour bus, huh?
Yeah, man, it's just the best. Like, there's no sleep like tour bus sleep.
Wait, and you hired a driver?
Yeah, our guy, Blue, Uncle Blue, he's been driving us forever.
This is the craziest
so it was like,
I've ever heard.
We got to go to.
I gotta say, upgrade. This is a huge
Vegas.
upgrade over Dip, because Dip's rich talk is still like attainable rich talk.
Oh, it's not even. It's fake.
If you work hard enough, you can still get to where Dip is at.
No,
this is like generational.
Dips is a work. Dips is called a work. This is a shoot, brother. Oh wait, so you brought the bus. You went to Stand and Deliver first thing in the morning. You did the full wrestling fan experience. So I've never done this. What is it like? Dip did it this year too. We didn't even ask him about that. But
Dip did Stand and Deliver also?
Well, yeah, because Dip has. Am I allowed to say? Dip has a client on. I don't know if we're allowed to. I don't know if it's been implied yet.
Yeah, we're gonna just do that.
Yeah, Dip has a client on the roster. So Dip was there and then went straight to the building. But Dip's a freak. He loves that anyway. How was the experience of doing the full-blown West Coast all-day WrestleMania?
It's rough. I'm not gonna lie, especially because like a town like Vegas, because then like you have all the other activities. Like when we first got there Friday night, we were kicking it, thinking, all right, hit NXT in the morning and then hit night one, just go in stride. But then we were staying at the Fountain Blue. And the Fountain Blue hosted like
Everything.
a bunch of their
Yeah.
parties. Yeah.
The
And
official hotel of WrestleMania.
so we saw that Metro, Live, Braun Breaker, they were throwing this thing that night. So it was like, we're in Vegas. And this is how you know I'm 34.
You're getting there,
because
buddy.
it hit about 11, and I was like, all right, say the door is open at 11. We can probably just go down there. But then I hit Metro Boomin, and I'm like, yo, what time you going on? He was like, 1:30. And I said,
Yeah.
1:30 in the morning to listen to
It went
music?
from this. It went from this to
Yeah.
Woo-wee. Bro, but you're in Vegas for WrestleMania weekend, so we went there. Saw his set, didn't get it back in until about 3:30.
Nah, you're wild.
And then had to get up to go to NXT at 9 in the morning, which is
No, you're
wild.
wild.
Yeah, then we went to night one after a little hiccup at the hotel, wash up a little bit, change your fit, go to night one. Got to see Jay bring it home. And then after that, you're celebrating after night one, except for the main event, but we'll get to that. And then night two was even crazier. And then you got to stay there and go to Raw. So it was like,
You want to know?
dude, it's
Want to
so
know
much
an interesting factoid? I have been to I think every WrestleMania since 2007 except one. I think every one but one.
Which one? Not the one that we all didn't make it to, right? Not the pandemic one.
No, and I still worked that show. You know what I mean? I was there virtually.
I still count that show. We were all there.
We were all there. Yeah, you count that. That's right, as you should.
We were all there.
The one I missed, I always get confused. I'm pretty sure it's Arizona. Is the one I didn't do. Wasn't that when Jericho? Wasn't that when Jericho had the Legends?
I think so.
Was that Arizona?
I need the number. What number?
27.
I want to say Arizona was 27.
Oh yeah, them's are funky, bro.
No, there's some rough ones. There's some rough ones in there. So, but here's the little known fact: I have never done Raw. I always go home.
Yeah.
Always. And by the way, I'm not saying I'm not like somewhat interested, but I'm not gonna lie. It's also such a fun one to watch on TV that I don't even mind being home.
Yeah.
Like it's the most fun one of the year. So like, listen, the reality is every wrestling show has some episodes that are slogs and you're like, oh man. And then there's this one, which is every segment is a banger. So this year I ended up watching on the plane. But yeah, I'm especially now, I'm always just so worn out by the time we get to the end that I'm ready.
Yeah. And it's like when you're really like invested and like you really like go with the crowd, you are so exhausted from sitting in the same spot the entire night. Like it's like really like a draining.
It's like an airplane seat. You're basically in an airplane seat all night long.
Yeah. And then not to mention now I'm like my third beer in.
Tired.
Voice is gone. Yeah, man. And then getting out of the stadium is crazy because now everyone has either seen where I'm sitting or gotten word where I am. And so now like a tiny crowd will like kind of slow down and not go out the exit waiting to see you. And so it gets a little crazy, man. But I'm just thankful people even want.
You know what? It's a tough place to be because in one sense, yes, of course, because you're a good person, you're appreciative. And in another sense, it's been a long ass night, and I just got to go.
Long ass weekend.
A long weekend.
And I got my little sister and my little brother with me. I'm trying to make sure they good, not get split up from them.
But I will say again, it's one of the best things about the WWE is that like there's not a safer fan base on earth to be around. Like. You really don't worry about, like, as someone, I'm sure you're of this mindset too, as someone who is always physically hyper aware of if anything could be scheming around me in any way, anywhere, especially if like I'm in New York. Wrestling's the one place where you could feel like you're at home. Like nothing's happening. Maybe someone will annoy you, but that's it. Like,
right. And at the end of the day, everybody there is so amped up and waiting for you to tag them into some bullshit anyway. So just like if something's going down and they think they can help you, oh, it's a wrap, bro. They got you.
You got a whole squad. All right, so where are you at? And I don't want to make this an interview. I want to just go through the show. But so let's pick up from here. So we've got more Cena over the last several days. Friday, Cena starts the show, and we get another Cena and Randy moment. Was Friday when Randy told John to have some kids, or was that Monday?
That was Friday.
That was Friday.
No, I think that was Friday. That was Friday. Yeah,
by the way, I love that with the top tier storylines, shows have been thrown out the window. It's just wherever they. What dates does John have? That's the show that he's on. That's the show that he's on.
Yeah.
Now they're back now. Because on Monday we got Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman and Braun. We got to talk about them. But
wasn't it about Sammy going to SmackDown too?
There was an offer made, but Sammy. Spoiler alert for y'all that didn't watch Monday. Sammy did not take the offer.
Sammy rebuffed. So Randy and John had their conversation on Friday, and for me, if you've been listening to the show, this isn't like the highest bar. I thought it was Cena's best so far, actually. I started, for some reason, to believe, like, I'm getting his logic and his motivation a bit more, which I thought was a little bit straw man at first. And now, for whatever reason, like, really hitting them with when Randy said the thing about being a part-timer, and John's like, I give my whole life to this, and when I come back, now I'm an outsider. I started to finally feel like a little bit of some logic that I could grab onto a bit. So after this Friday and in general, where do you sit with the Cena heel of it all?
Number one, I love that he gets to go off a little bit in these promos. The older I've gotten, the more I appreciate heels, because I just think it's so funny that, like, you get paid to just say whatever you want, and then it's like, well, he's the heel. Like, that's the best job in the world. Like, that's crazy. Like, Dominic Mysterio, dude, I tell him all the time, you are one of my spirit animals, dude. Like, you just say whatever and get away with it. And John has always had that. John has always had that. So I love to see these heel promos. And as you know, I'm a Roman guy, so I love seeing the Cody fans on Twitter just sulk in it. That's the best. But I'm still on the fence a little bit whether or not I'm fully enjoying myself. I do love that I'm in a spot where I can't necessarily predict where they're going to go with it. I don't expect him to necessarily lose early in these 27 dates, but I do feel like this is the farewell tour that we're going to get from him is going to be great. And starting off with Randy in St. Louis, building's going to be crazy. Is what we all want to see.
Now, what were your thoughts about The Rock not showing up to be a part of this? Because I know that was some of your trepidation and some of your issue with it, was that it wasn't enough Rock talk and enough. Why did I specifically join The Rock? And then The Rock came out after Mania, said he was never factored in. How do you feel about that and the way that affected the story?
It hurt. It hurt as a wrestling fan because we all fantasy book. We all think we know what's going to happen. And also, it kind of made sense for it to happen. So you're kind of expecting it. And as much as I love Travis Scott, if I hear Fiend one more time, I might jump out the window.
You would have enjoyed our podcast last week. I played the start of it like 7 times just to troll people.
Well, it was still WrestleMania week.
Right.
That's what he does during his show. They fiending for more. But, like, being at Mania and hearing it as much as I did, and then, we're all sitting there watching Cody versus Cena, waiting for that. And it just never came. And I feel like, personally, just between us and whoever's watching, so my agent is one of my agents is Rock's agent, and I should have known. I should have known that he wasn't going to be there because, dude, I hit him. I was like, yo, so what's going on with Mania? You know, I'm trying to get my family in there, yada, yada, yada. And his reply was, oh, it's a little difficult over there right now. Just give me a couple of days. And I was like, over there? That means you're not there?
Right.
Which means that Rock's not there. So it was like,
over there's a place. It's another
yeah,
place.
It's not here. It's not like, oh yeah, let me figure it out. It's like over there. So I was like, if he's not there, Rock's not there.
And not to mention, if Rock is not showing up on the biggest day of the year, even if you're Rocky's agent, it's a tough spot to pick up the phone and be like, yo, I need 4 tickets.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Now it hurt. It hurt. And then the Rock's cleanup was not great on McAfee.
No.
It didn't make it much better.
Well, you got to remember too, wrestling fans keep receipts. So when The Rock said that he was there to like boost ticket sales and do this and do that, and then people saw that, you know, you didn't post about Mania on social until you had to promote a Pat McAfee appearance and things like that. It's like, come on.
And
so weird.
He kind of threw trips under the bus a little bit, bro.
And with which line?
You can't be like, I would have done some things differently. You got to just go straight in like, yeah, I love where it's headed. Just be patient. Give us that BS. Don't tell me you would have did something different. Lie to me. Like, please. And because it's like, oh, so you weren't in the room? Oh, you had nothing to do with it? Like,
because if you did, because if you were a part of it at all, you wouldn't have critiqued anything.
Yeah. So like,
it's a good point.
So like, it just felt like, dude, no, don't do that. You know, yeah, I'll go see the Smashing Machine, bro. You look great. I can't wait to see it. All right, you think you're gonna get your big one with that? But like that, yeah, he shouldn't have said it that way. Everything else though, he's The Rock. Come on, man.
The movie does look awesome, by the way. The trailer dropped today. It looks
amazing, bro.
It looked like
I've been waiting so long,
bro. I've been waiting so long to see this man just be an actor, like just act like not action Rock. Just like give me a guy, a human.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is really going to work. Besides the fact that he looks like an absolute freak. And like I know Mark Cole is a big guy, but my God, man.
And you gotta think, like, how many normal guy roles are there for this mountain of a dude? Like,
touche.
Like,
that's a good point.
Right, bro, I gotta run in, save people. This is what I'm built for. There's not a lot of stories for him to pull your heartstrings looking like Hercules. So, like, I'm glad he got the role of a lifetime. He looks like he kills it. Emily Blunt, such a pro. So I know, like, the chemistry that they got to have, the things that they're going to be able to pull out of each other. I'm pumped about it. I hit my agent. I was like, I don't care what I'm doing. I got to be at that premiere. The Rock has been my hero, bro, since I was 6-7 years old.
Do you have any rapport with him?
The first time I met The Rock, bro. First time I met The Rock, I was in 6th grade, and you know, I'm leaving out of class, going to the back of school, and then there's like the school is like, I'm seeing people pop up everywhere, like circling me. Your dad's here. Shay, your dad's here. Your dad's here. You know your dad's here. And this is grandma territory, bro. My grandma picks me up from school. Like, my dad don't pick me up from school. It's just not how the world works. And so I'm like thinking, what did I do? Like, what did I do, bro? So I can't remember anything bad that I did. So I'm like, I'm done. This is it. He's going to kill me. This is it. Game over, roll credits. And then I get to the back of the school. He's in the nice car, all right? Now, the nice car was the 2-seater. All right, red SL 500. It was the time, bro. So we get in the car.
More childhood rich talk. Keep going.
Yeah, we drive from the Valley all the way to Venice. And from a little kid perspective, just getting out of school, this is taking forever. Does not tell me where we're going. We go to a restaurant. We sit at a table that's definitely more than big enough for 2 people. And in walks The Rock. Sits down and just starts talking to my dad. And this is my hero at this point, okay? Like, this is my guy. My dad gives me no warning that I'm going to meet him or anything like that. And when I tell you they sat for about 45 minutes to an hour, I couldn't say a word. I couldn't get anything to come out of my brain. I couldn't believe he was sitting right there. I went to go see The Mummy Returns twice. He's in that movie for 6 minutes. All right, like, this is my guy, dude. And later on in life, I went to WrestleMania 32, and I met him backstage then, told him the exact same story. The change that he had left at the restaurant, I stole his quarter. I have it to this day in a sandwich bag. That's been my guy.
Crazy. That's wild.
Yep. Yeah, dude. That's my dude. So, like, I love The Rock, man. So it's hard to, when I see people online, I just want to be like, shut up, man. Leave him alone.
I know. But by the way, this is the thing. I always feel this way, these, with very few exceptions, the people I'm critical of, and these days, it's been John recently, it's been Rocky the last week and a half. Like, we are like beyond fond of these people. Like, I'm fond of them, obviously, as talent. I've only had the most lovely experiences with basically everybody. I mean, I would, on one hand, be able to count the amount of people in the business I really have had like a bad interaction with. So, like, it is hard. Like, I do think about that. I'm like, oh man, if John were to be on a break of one of his movies, and the algorithm, I don't think John's a scroller, but if he ever was, and the algorithm fed him a clip of us being like, well, the heel turn so far, not my favorite. It's like,
of y'all, he would love me after he saw it.
Yeah, well, it depends which week, because last week you were closer to my side than you were.
Emilio, bury that clip, Emilio.
Yeah, previously. But yeah, like, listen, I love The Rock beyond measure. He's The Rock, but like, he's in a position that's so important that, like, there's no way to not be critical. The sneaky best part of my little interview with not little, it was a long ass interview I did with Triple H that they aired over Mania was at the end. I was like, you ever get sick of this whole like final boss thing? I'm like, it's fine. And like, I'm working, obviously. Like, I'm trying to plant the seeds of like, is there something there storyline wise? Mm-hmm. But now, knowing the way things played out, it's a very interesting moment to go back and watch and try to dissect. Because like, none of us can read their relationship. Like, no. This is literally why we love wrestling, because we have no idea whether the final boss looming over Triple H is actually annoying in Triple H's life. We have no idea. I have to imagine it is on some level.
I would imagine it is too. They've been beefing since what, 98? Like, on screen?
I watched
maybe
Young Rock.
Backstage?
It's implied in Young Rock. Like, it's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it's like, it's bro, wrestling will turn any fan into a screenwriter real quick. And it's just, it's, you see the inklings, it would make sense, but at the end of the day, they could tell you anything. Like, the one thing I hate about wrestling fans is, like, a perfect example is Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens will straight be like, guys, I'm hurt. And then they'll be like, no, you're not. Like, what? I promise, like, I'm hurt. I can't continue. And we just don't believe anything. So they could tell us out of their mouths, there's nothing wrong. And we'll still be like, I don't know. So, yeah, that is to keep us on the edge of our seat.
But that's the beauty of the whole thing. Like,
yeah, I keep it going anyway.
Like, listen, one of my favorite things I've ever heard a wrestler say to me, and this sums up so much of what we're talking about, how you can't believe anything. I walked past Bully Ray, then Bubba Ray, backstage the night of his Hall of Fame. And as I walk past, I know you've heard this, SGG. As I walk past him, I'm like, yo, congrats, man. He goes, it's a work.
Hall of Fame night.
All right, man, whatever.
So you're like, but you're also lying, because yes, it's a work, but you are excited, and they're really putting you in because you are a big deal. I mean, like, so that whole dichotomy is such a part of why we're obsessed with the whole thing. Like, and maybe that's why this moment we're living in right now has a lot of fun stuff, because I feel like there's a handful of stories that reflect. Bro. Like Seth and Punk have real stuff in there. They may be getting along great now. There's real stuff in there.
Yeah, like come on, like there's a little sprinkling that they saw some dollar signs could come out of, but like to keep that going is they got to get a kick out of it. I met Rey Mysterio and Dominic the same night, and they would not take a picture together.
Oh,
like
no.
It's just like the best. Like I get a kick out of that. When it comes to Seth and Punk, I know there's just got to be a little. There's just got to be a little. They're pulling from too much. You know, they like we could be joking around, but they always say every joke got a little bit of truth to it.
I said this on the Countdown show actually, and I wasn't working. This was legit. I saw Ray on, I guess Saturday. We found out Ray was hurt, right?
Yeah,
it was Saturday.
Friday
right?
night he got injured, and I think he had his surgery already. So hopefully he's come back soon.
So, yeah, shout out to Ray. Hopefully he is back soon. It wasn't too serious. Like I know it's one that could potentially be a quick recovery, hopefully. And when I saw him, we chatted a bit about what happened, and he was obviously bummed out, and he didn't seem like, oh my God, like, in misery, but he was disappointed. He knows these things aren't guaranteed anymore. And we're sitting there and he goes, yo, you want to know what Dominic said to me? And I'm like, what's that? He goes, I said to him, well, Dom, I guess you're going to be the only Mysterio that shines at WrestleMania. And Dom was like, that was already the case, Dad. And this is just him telling me in real life, like, this is crazy. They won't stop. Like, it's crazy.
At the end of 39, I went up to Dom and I was like, bro, you threw water in your sister's face.
Yeah.
He grabbed me, pulled me in, got this close to my ear and goes, I've been waiting to do that shit for years. Like, oh my God. He's evil, dude.
He's evil.
He's
pure evil. So SGG, when was that McAfee Goldberg clip you sent the group chat from?
If you remember a few months back, Goldberg announced that he said he wanted to have one more match, and then I don't know if they announced that he would be coming back for at least one more match, but he put the seed out there on Pat McAfee's show months ago. I want to say this was in like January. And so
now that started moving around again.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's moving around, but that's immediately where my mind went, was that, okay, Gunther put the pause on Michael Cole. McAfee stood up for Michael Cole, but it's still Gunther, right? Like, he's going to get beat down too. And then if they need a real champion and a real hero to stand up for them in that moment, I think the end game might actually be Gunther Goldberg from all of this, McAfee.
What do you think? O'Shea, does that sound like something possible to you, or you think it? And also, do you guys think this is something that would happen in St. Louis, or in St. Louis we get McAfee, Gunther, and Gunther just beats the absolute hell out of him?
I think McAfee, being the team player he is, he's gonna get destroyed, And Pat's such a sicko; he loves that, So I think I think the match goes through with it. You already got the internet buzzing, like, how could McAfee and Gunther, after Gunther just had the world title, and it's going to go exactly how we all think. And then, I would check the dates. When the next time they in Atlanta? They had already teased the Gunther Goldberg thing
in Berlin. Where was that?
Yeah, wherever. Where Gage and him were at, and then the whole Bret Hart thing,
or was it Bad Blood? There was a time recently, maybe it was Bad Blood. The Goldberg thing was teased with Gunther already recently.
Yeah, a while ago. Yeah, so it that definitely is very feasible, very very feasible.
Yeah,
but I don't. Go ahead, SGG.
I was gonna say, to answer your question, I think McAfee gets the beat down around Backlash, because remember, they got 2 nights of SummerSlam this year to fill up. And I think on a SummerSlam Saturday, Gunther Goldberg might be one of those matches that you could put on a poster, or you can parade around, the Fox Sports and the ESPN and this place and that place to drum up some hype for 2 nights of SummerSlam. So I think they're gonna hold out for that match.
By the way,
weekend.
And can we just have Gunther beat this man right in the middle of the ring?
Yeah.
Wow.
What are we doing?
Wait. We talking about Bill or we talking about Pat?
We're talking about
Both
Bill.
of them. Whoever, fill in the
no,
blank with either one.
Pat is going to be, if this ends with, there's only two possible conclusions to Backlash. One, someone gets in the way and stops it and saves Pat. And the more likely, and I think probably better option is Pat leaves in an ambulance. Like, that's the only way. There's no reason that Gunther should do anything to Pat. I mean, Pat is an athlete, and Pat has wrestled before. So it's not like it's a match with Michael Cole. Like, he is, like Pat could literally go hard in the gym right now for the next 2 weeks even, and probably come out looking pretty toned and ready in a couple of weeks. But he should still get absolutely smoked by Gunther.
Yeah.
And then you get Goldberg back. I feel like everyone will go into it expecting Spear Goldberg wins as always. And if Gunther just lays Goldberg down and ends his career in the middle of the ring, that's a pretty effective measure for Gunther.
Yeah, it does amazing things for Gunther, especially after taking the world title off of him. I know a lot of people would love to see just a shot of Goldberg holding up the big gold one more time would be just great for me. But we're well past that. Yeet. And so when it comes to they hate that shit. But when it comes to Goldberg's final match, they say you're supposed to go out looking up at the lights, and just give us one more good one. You're gonna get the pop you deserve. It does deserve to be in a stadium, not an arena. And SummerSlam makes a lot of sense now that you bring it up. And MetLife, you can come on, man. You're gonna sell that. You see what tickets is looking like. You got to get them to go to something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw the hospital. I saw the specialty seats. Oh boy.
Yep.
Some people want some people's salary for those seats.
I want the floor. I want my ticket.
No, I want to go home with one of the wrestlers. One of them needs to come live in the house.
Yeah.
Like, which wrestler do you take home for this?
Yeah.
Like your kid gets to play with this wrestler now like it's a doll for the next few months. They just live with it. No, and also let's be real. Respectfully to the most decorated. No. To the most obviously decorated Jewish wrestler of all time. I say this respectfully.
Yeah.
No, because Macho Man is Jewish, guys. We're never going to put anyone ahead of Macho Man. But Goldberg's name, no one knows that Macho Man's Jewish. Goldberg's name is Goldberg. I'm going to put some respect on that. But no one has a more exaggerated and unfair win-loss record in their entire career than this man. He deserves to go down. He deserves to lose bad in his last match. I mean,
first of all, WCW threw like 40 on his win-loss record just during this
40. They threw 140 on it. It was crazy.
Yeah,
this guy. But if we added up the big Goldberg losses all time, there are not a lot.
No, at one point the statistic was there was like 5 men who had pinned Bill Goldberg and defeated him in a match. It was like Kevin Nash, Triple H, and 3 other people.
Lesnar got him, right? I feel like Lesnar got him.
Yeah, Lesnar got him.
At the go-away match that everyone booed them out of the Garden?
That one, and they didn't have a rematch?
They had another one.
They had
one in Survivor Series that Bill Goldberg won, and then they had one in, I think, Orlando. WrestleMania Orlando.
Yeah, I think that was Goldberg's last world title with WWE. I was shocked. That was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
As quick as that was, we were shocked in the house, dude. Insane.
SGG, I'm trying to think of what are the other biggest things to take away from last night. There's so much wrestling in my life on a daily basis.
Man, hold on. I got something I need to talk about.
Oh, please, go ahead. Get off your chest.
Bro, once again, because this is the second time I'm going to say this on some sort of media. This is not to Colby. I'm sure you're a great guy. But Seth Rollins does not need Paul Heyman. And it kills me inside, bro. It kills me inside. And Sami Zayn, probably my favorite promo he's ever done. He's like, Seth, what is this, bro? You seem jealous. You seem like all this was just jealousy. I was in the house like, absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
So what do you mean he doesn't need him? And by the way, the implication to me kind of feels like you're saying your tribal chief does.
First of all, the reason why I say Seth doesn't need Paul Heyman is because Seth gets everything.
Go
Oh
ahead.
my God, he gets everything. He had the shield, threw that away. He had the authority. He had the Messiah with his minions. Now he has another one, another thing. And when he got out there and he was like, what you're looking at is the future of the business. I was like, Seth, how many futures of the business talks do you have with him, bro?
Right.
Like the architect was the future. The Monday Night Messiah was the Beast Slayer was the future, and now the Visionary's the future too. How many futures do you think we have with you?
Now, by the
It's just
okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Here's why this is so good, and this is why this is going to be dope. Number one, this version of Seth will be better. It will be the future of every version he's ever had. Because let's be real, Paul has done that for everyone.
No, I don't want to say that.
Who, Brock?
I wouldn't say that.
I think it's 3 people that didn't quite make it, but everybody
with his people,
there was some misses. There was some misses.
Sure, but with the ones that have been the ones, they've all been a level up with Paul Heyman walking out with them.
Yeah.
All right. The biggest example being your guy's childhood hero. When I say that, I mean adulthood hero.
Yeah.
Hold on. That's mine. Tribal chief, bro.
For sure. But he's my tribal chief. That doesn't mean he's my childhood hero. But so I do think that Paul will have a legitimately impactful role on the Seth character really going to another level.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the deeper part, okay? We were just talking about the real life and how the craziest thing is that we never know the...
Right.
I'm gonna throw this out there.
Oh, God.
Paul is the smartest, most cunning man in the business. That part's not a work. He is. Follow him. Like, it always, follow Paul. You will see where it's always going. The storyline of him jumping ship on Roman to go to Seth, that's because that's what's really going to happen. Like, he sees in his eyes, for whatever reason, Paul got to look at the future. And the future to him, I'm sure, was Seth Rollins. For whatever reason, that may sound crazy to us because you're right. He's had a million go-rounds. Now, listen, we got to give him his credit. He's also been captain consistent. Like, everybody's had ups and downs. Seth has basically just hovered towards the top of the card the whole way, and is the guy who you need him to have a war with. You need to make him have multiple wars with Cody Rhodes. Boom, no problem. CM Punk, how many pins he take, doesn't matter. Lose, stay right there at the top of the card, right?
And that's why I'm going to say Seth needed Paul Heyman. Seth does need Paul Heyman because, like you said, Roman is a god now to the point where his entrance, he just strolls to the ring, takes his
whole stadium
time.
Whole stadium, bro.
Yeah, the whole stadium stands up. They put their ones up, and he is just on a Sunday stroll for 7 minutes to the ring, and then the bell rings, and then he gives you like a 45-minute classic, and then he strolls back out. And that happened in the time that he was with Paul Heyman. Same thing with CM Punk. He was the best in the world. He was great in ring, and his legendary title run started before he linked up with Paul Heyman. But what took him to that next level, to the point where the fans didn't stop chanting his name for a decade while he was gone, was that last little bit that he had with Paul Heyman. And Seth has been at the top, but I feel like he had not cracked to the same level of where a Punk and a Roman was, despite being as great as he is and has always been. And I think that by putting him with Paul Heyman, he's going to go into that legendary status where people are going to be saying, yo, is Seth the GOAT? And people are going to be like, yeah, he is. And it's not going to be crazy talk.
So here's the question.
Years ago, it was crazy.
And it wasn't crazy talent-wise, but it was crazy in terms of where he was. But here's the question that I have then. So there are two ways of looking at it. and Paul could frame this either way. Roman, you don't need me anymore. You're everything that SGG just said you are. You don't need me. But there's another way of looking at it, which is I'm reading the way this is going. Roman takes a lot of time off. A lot. I would say even you guys as fans are probably surprised at how infrequent he is on TV at this point in his career. There is a world in which he sees that Seth, because a lot of people believe Seth has one of the greatest minds in the business, right? Roman's future is not going to be running WWE and being one of the guys. That's not where Roman is going. I think Roman's hope is to be not wrestling, not working a ton, doing some Hollywood, and being with his family. Seth is the kind of freako who I don't think's ever leaving this business. No. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think there's a plan for him to leave. Look back at the history. NXT champion, world champion, associated with it's all.
He was world champion and U.S. champion at the same time.
Well, he's had the most double championships out of anybody.
My God.
So is there a world? So Paul could both frame it to Roman as you're good, you don't need me, and also in his mind could be going, I've gotten the most I'm going to get out of that. It was incredible. Let me go on this ride with this guy, where this is going to another place we didn't know was possible yet. And again, you don't know where the line is between real and storyline. Like that's the beauty of it all.
I feel like both could be true. I feel like it's so funny. We're talking about Seth and Roman, and I feel like Seth and Roman, 20 years down the line, like the kids who have watched their career, and then 20 years down the line, Seth and Roman are going to be where The Rock and Triple H was. It's going to be like that kind of dynamic, except they started out as friends and not frenemies or like coworkers who just happen to have to get along because they were at the top. And so I think,
well, maybe we'll always stay friends. I mean, we'll see what happens.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They've always been good.
I'm saying that dynamic of Seth, like Roman's going to probably go to Hollywood and have a super successful Hollywood career, and Seth is going to stay in wrestling and have a super successful career in wrestling, and his trajectory is going to follow Triple H's, and Roman's might follow The Rock's. And I think for Paul, he's right. If Roman's going to go that way, he doesn't need him anymore. Like there's nothing more that they can do for each other if Roman's going to go that way. And if Seth wants to be where he is in the business, and he has the potential to have that genius mind that's going to carry it into the seventh future of wrestling, he does need Paul to bring that out of him.
I just feel like Roman, the only way that I think be satisfied, Roman got to get his one on Seth, dude.
Yeah.
You got to give me, because like how many times has Seth gotten over on Roman? Over and over and over, and now he took your guy. When you gonna get your lick back? You seem to never do it. Like it just he's always right there, and this is long-term storytelling that I'm not even like. I can't even fathom how long this has been going on. But he always gets you, bro. And if you let this dude get you one more time and it's all over, oh, that'll be the worst as a Roman fan. Like, yes. He got to let him get him one time. Please, Hunter, please.
The funny thing about that, too, I think when Seth first turned on the Shield, they were kind of set up for Roman to get his lick back on Seth, and then Roman got injured. Then he comes back, Seth is champion, and he's about to get his lick back and take that title, and then Seth gets injured. And then by the time they really realized, all right.
And don't forget the cash in and last year's WrestleMania, and when they did go against each other during Roman's reign, Seth wins because of DQ because Roman hits him with a chair.
Or about the night
he take Paul.
The night when all the Shield members held the championship at the same night, it was Seth took the title off of Roman, and then Dean Ambrose cashed in on him. So Seth has always been getting Roman. I think they're holding out for that one time when Roman's gonna stand tall over Seth, because I think it's going to mean something.
Also, Pete, just because you in the inside, how do New Orleans keep getting all these WrestleManias?
Funny, we were just talking about that before.
It's funny. We did just talk about
one every 4 years or something crazy. Like what?
Well, it gets but they must just make good deals for people, because keep in mind, it's not just WrestleMania. They get the Super Bowl constantly too.
I'm like, bro,
I like New Orleans
going
Mania,
on in New Orleans, bro? Like,
Well, by the way,
God.
I'm more excited for it than Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas wasn't for me, bro. The biggest problem with Vegas is you can't. There's no way to cut off people's bothering talent. So there's no way for people to really hang. Like there was no camaraderie anywhere.
They leaned in on the people bothering talent too, because it was like,
let's have them host clubs.
Yeah, come party with us. Go
like
to
at least in New Orleans, they could put everyone in a normal hotel, have security at the front of the hotel, and like there's some sort of, I know these are first world problems, but like there's like some sense from like at least when I'm working and afterwards can like relax and see coworkers this one time when everybody's around. I didn't see anybody. Like I would get back from work and like, you know, one night me and Sam got food. One night, like, but like then she's like go to bed. Like there was no. And then I went to the roast. I honestly went to the roast. I didn't know where else to go that night. Like I really didn't. I really didn't have any plans to go to the roast, and I'm like, I don't know where to go. And I'm like, I think this pass will get me in anywhere. So I just showed up to the roast and watched it. Which of course now, I mean, was there anything more predictable than video of that roast getting out?
Like, come on, man. Well, you know, like even Dave Chappelle shows get out, bro. You think this roast about to be
where there's a
fully under wraps?
Where there's a whole like world of people who get credit for leaking things that and this is being told nobody's supposed to know. I mean,
yeah, like it wasn't even like at a speakeasy. Like you did this at like you made it an event with posters.
What were SG? I didn't really follow it much online. Was there any main like headline that people were taking from the video that got out?
Oh, people are mad at Nia Jax. You know, people
when
are mad
aren't they?
People were mad that Sammy even showed up to do it. I don't think, like, I didn't hear any of the jokes, but it's just like
Sammy was the best part of the show, probably.
Probably, yeah. I mean, like, I feel like Sammy probably, if I had to guess, Sammy went there to call Tony Hinchcliffe a piece of shit to his face, and then that was that.
That's a nice thought. I think he was just there to go do comedy on the stage.
Yeah, but either way, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna attach a set of values to people just because they showed up to a work event.
But that's what. And by the way, like, this is like I'm someone who's hypercritical of the manosphere comedians. Like, I'm super, as you know, like I'm super hypercritical of it. But like people who like to perform and do comedy, you can't judge them because they end up mixing up with these people. The world is too. Nah, wrestling fans, you guys suspend your own disbelief on things when you feel like it anyway. So don't judge Sammy if he wants to show up and do comedy when you know he loves doing comedy. And it's a comedy show.
Sammy's funny. Sammy's a funny guy. Like, he should be getting these looks. If it's going to be like a big comedy event in his world, he's the one person that needed to be on that stage. Like,
bro, okay, this is the sixth time I've heard this word. What the hell is manosphere? Like, what is that? I keep hearing manosphere.
So it's the only way that people know how to describe sort of the world of comedy that's often stems from Rogan, though not necessarily, and has like right-leaning, if not officially right-wing sort of ethos.
Definitely misogynist, like rooted in some misogyny, which is why it's like a manosphere and not really.
But not even necessarily, because it does get SGG. It does get wonky. Like like there are some people that are harder to like put like Theo Von is part of that, and it's really hard to put one label on what Theo Von is like. But he is in that world too.
Okay, I feel you.
That makes sense.
They flirt with the isms though, for sure. Like,
no, there's plenty of isms in there.
It's just a different way of saying, and like you said, they're not just in there just being misogynistic, but just like a little rascal, He-Man Woman Haters Club. Like it's like the dudes hang out. Like
it's like the man haters got some money and some influence.
All right, I've heard that. Like I was like, okay, I know that's not a normal word, but I don't want to ask. But I feel like we're in a safe space.
It's definitely become the word du jour of people who aren't a big fan of it. And there's also no real way to describe it because, like, it kind of all came out of nowhere. Damn, the Knicks really just blew this thing in the last minute. They're trash.
that's not how I want to hear about
Oh,
that.
I'm so sorry. You know how stressed out I am about the Lakers? Relax.
Bruh, no, you guys are in a bad way right now. It's not good.
But I know we're going to be great because I got Luka Doncic. So
I mean, you're going to be – are you going tomorrow?
Probably not. I definitely am much more of a, like, when it comes to the playoffs, bro, I need to pace. I need to have smoke breaks. I need to like I got a whole routine. I literally sit in my house during timeouts, during commercial breaks. You don't watch Dragon Ball Z, but I do this while watching TV. This is a spirit bomb, and I try to send them my energy, bro. Because, like, I don't need it. What am I using it for? I'm on the couch. I'm a single black father, Pete. Like, it's hard, dude.
and now Miss America in 2025, the Lakers are down 3-1 to Minnesota. Like, you're dealing with a lot. Your tribal chief lost 1-2-3 at WrestleMania. Yeah. It's crazy right now for you.
I mean, you know, they jumped him. It wasn't like, you know, he lost.
That's actually a fact.
You're like, come on, dog.
Seth can't do it without a chair. I want to see Seth do it without a chair.
Are you enjoying? Where are you at with the Hurt Syndicate MJF story? Have you been paying attention to that?
I think that obviously, when it comes to AEW, the most entertaining things are always Toni Storm and Swerve. To me, you know, that's always like the bread and butter go-to. That's going to hit all the time. MJF. I'm so happy that there's this new window of him being hilarious. I enjoy it. I love that they kind of stretched it out a little bit further than I thought it was going to go.
That's by the way, that is their best. That is Tony's best quality as a booker. His patience to let the thing be is not something you often see these days. Like I think they're going into like. Tomorrow might be week 6 of it already, or like it's 5 or 6. Yeah. It's inch by inch by inch, with Max getting to be funny every week, and it's been a very nice slow build. Sorry, but you were saying.
Yeah, but yeah, I love that it has been that piece by piece thing, and yeah, there's been a lot of times in AEW where, you know, things that you either like it's so. Like there are times where I'm just like, wow, they're fighting already, and then there's a bunch of times where I'm like, man, listen, all right, like where are we going with this? Like when you think of like obviously the one that stands out to people is the devil, you know, that thing and how that played out. Woo! I'm gonna be real. I don't know what's going on with this Death Riders thing, but my God, it is playing out. Bro.
It is.
And I'm like, you know, I've been, when Wrestle Dream happened and everybody was like, you let these dudes put a plastic bag over Bryan Danielson. I went on the No Contest Wrestling podcast and I had AEW's back. I was like, listen, you might not like it. It might have made you angry, but like, you're talking about it. Now, you got to watch Dynamite to see where they're going to go with it. And boy, do I look like a jerk now. Because I can't figure out where we go with this at all. In the beginning, they were like, this is going to lead to Shane McMahon. I'm like, does Shane McMahon know?
Did anybody tell Shane?
I'm like, where are we going? And, you know, just me personally, I'm starting to think y'all did something with the belt. Like, is the belt broke? Did we lose the belt flying? Where's the belt? The belt's not ever on TV. I know it's not in that briefcase.
That's crazy. Right. And that's a little thing that's a big thing. Like, where is the belt?
Where's the belt? Like, y'all ain't showed it.
Did Chris Jericho leave it at Shoney's again? Like, what's happening?
Like, and it starts to make you think, like, when you watch a sitcom and you start noticing, hey, I haven't seen such and such on an episode in a long time. Something must have happened. Yeah, like there's contract dispute you don't know about. So right now, it just really feels like they won't show me where the belt is.
Wait, you're saying dark skin Viv?
Bro, where's the belt? We don't even show him putting it in the briefcase. I'm like, and she's just supposed to be lugging it around. That shit doesn't look. It looks so light.
No, it's very weird. This whole thing is weird and gone on way too long. And I'm with you. To me, the must-see TV right now, Swerve. Man, my Swerve take has played out amazingly, which was I was ready for the last title reign to end, and I had faith that he could get around to when the next one happened, it would be better. And at this point, especially with how cold that thing is, if Swerve gets back to it, it'll be a great time for him. And I think he's better now, frankly, even than he was 8 months ago.
Swerve is like, you know, he's got one of those minds, dude, that's just like, he thinks like a movie. Like, he really does. Like, he will tell a story in his match and beyond. And
on DJ Vlad, and that's his only problem.
Right, bro. Bro, you can't go at Book, bro. Like, call him.
He got caught up. Yeah, it happens.
But like I hit Swerve the other day. I was like, bro, if I could have anything, I wish I could have seen a storyline with you and Bray and just the insanity y'all would have came up with together. You're a lunatic, dude. And
he's a maniac. Him and Toni Storm are two certifiable maniacs.
Yeah, they're amazing, and like they are, to me, they are holding down the ship. But also the X factor right now has really been MJF and the Hurt Syndicate, man.
It's been, if you guys haven't got, if you're out there listening, you haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, strong recommendation. As wow, OG Anunoby just cut it to 1 with 5 seconds left. Well, that's interesting.
That had nothing to do with AEW, bro. What was that?
Yeah, completely left turn.
Listen, our listeners are lucky to be getting so much wrestling talk out of us.
Yeah, we're only doing this much wrestling talk. Not that we needed to with you, but we're only doing this because you have great wrestling thoughts that we need to mine. Otherwise, we would have been talking about bagels a half hour ago. But no, the Max thing has been great. He's got MVP. Now it looks like he's got Shelton. He still can't get Bobby on his side, especially when like, this is what's great. This is such old school booking. This story ends with Max fucking the Hurt Syndicate. That is the only way this goes. It is the only way. And MVP is going to get looked at crazy because he's the one who opened the door. We know where it's going, and it's still going to be beautiful when we get there because they're letting it take its time. But to me, it's that, Swerve, Toni Storm, and dude, Megan Bayne.
Oh, the God of War final boss. Bro, she looks like a God of War boss, bro. Yeah, Megan Bayne, bro. Let's go back to what I was saying. I thought her and Statlander were going to like meet down the road, and Tony be like, "Yo, get them going next week." And like now, Bayne just looks like Bayne. You know, like you could tell she could be a star.
There is money. She is one of the people where there is WWE money on the table for her one day. If that is the path that she decides to go on. You can
say that, but if I say that, bro, I'm the biggest jerk in the world. They're still mad at me because I asked for video packages on Chris Van Vliet. Like, I'm still a bad guy over AEW.
Wait, what do you mean because you asked for video packages on Chris Van Vliet?
Bro, like last year, like around my birthday too, which was great to celebrate. But it was like I had went on Chris Van Vliet and he asked me how I felt about AEW. And I told him, I was like, I told him I dug it. I said the only thing is like I just want to know, there's a lot of people I don't know. I don't watch all of wrestling, So when you're bringing in a guy from another promotion that's not some homegrown AEW talent, all I asked for was, a video package. Tell me why I should like this.
By the way, this is respectfully, this is the most obvious take of all time. Like, yes, of course. Bro, everyone knows this.
Bro, I got killed, dude. I'll send you some links.
What, people were mad that you told the truth that there are too many people on TV you don't know?
Bro, still, like the other day when Rusev came out for the Monday after Mania, and there was this huge pop. Somebody commented like, O'Shea, no video package. How do all those people know who he is?
Oh, really?
Number one, because he came back as Rusev, his WWE character. And then the next week, they did a video package for him. Because, like, it's all right that like we're watching wrestling. Yes, we're watching wrestling. We're watching wrestlers compete in a ring, and we want to see their in-ring ability and yada yada yada. But you're still doing a TV show, and some exposition would be great. That's all. That's all that is. And it wasn't me digging at them. And the way that the clip was cut up, I say at the end, I don't not like AEW. Listed all the friends that I still watch over there, and like how I wish them success and yada yada yada. The only thing I hate was the faceless accounts that get at me on Twitter. They can go to hell. Other than that, like, bro, you need AEW. You need it.
Totally.
Or WWE is just going to go to sleep. It's like Madden. Madden is the only football game there is. So they can sell you the same piece of crap all the time because they don't have competition. Sorry, EA, but it's just not fun. But like, yeah. But people will take whatever they want. They'll clip it up. And then when they talk to me, they'll be like, oh, you're really a nice guy, which is really the most annoying compliment in the world.
Yeah.
By the way, that's crazy. The people getting mad about that's ridiculous. It's obviously the biggest problem. Well, there's some storyline problems, and then there's the fact that there's too many people on TV. I love that they all have jobs. I want them all to work. You have 2 TV shows to use them on. But like, yeah, I remember maybe it was the first time they debuted Takeshita. I was like,
oh my God, what a beast!
By the way,
oh my God, I love him, dude.
No, Takeshita's awesome. But the first time they showed it to Takeshita, I as a fan am supposed to pop for just seeing him reveal himself. Like, not every fan of your product is that hardcore.
And I think that's the thing too. Like they're wrestling for the smart marks, but they bump everybody's wrestling IQ up a little too high.
Just too high, just a bit. Like, just give the explanation on who the people are. Like, even on Raw and SmackDown, when someone from NXT shows up, listen to Cole or Tessitore. They're gonna give you like what they've done recently in NXT. They don't assume you watch NXT. They're like, just in case you only watch Raw, Stephanie Vaquer is this person. Like, you should know this is why she's someone. Not just, oh my God, it's her. Like, that's just not a reasonable way to expect people to be able to follow your product.
Yeah, and bro, as a long watcher of WWE, first time I was like, NXT, like the reality show, was Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens coming out and beating Cena. I was like, whoa. I thought NXT was that reality show. And they were like, well, it kind of is, but now it's its own like promotion. And so I was like, all right. My sister was the one that was like, yo, you need to watch NXT. And I haven't put it down since. And, when it's somebody new in the company, okay, I'll take the announcers giving me a rundown on why they're dope. But when you're bringing somebody from a whole other promotion here, I need some sort of video build up, or I'm gonna just be like, all right, so which one is all right, so who am I going for then? Like,
yeah, what's my why here? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just watching people exercise, baby. And like, it's that's just the storytelling part. And they're like I said, I have all the respect in the world for AEW because number one, if you're a WWE fan, you got to be thankful that they came in and made WWE show their fans. Like, you gotta like love that, bro. Because if not, then we my man Roman Reigns was getting dog food.
Yeah,
bro. Like, we were in some dark times.
No, literal dog food.
Yeah,
it was.
Baron Corbin is my guy, and for years I was like, you're the last person to beat Roman Reigns. But
and believe me, he knew.
I love Corbin, bro.
Oh, he's the best.
He's the best.
F the Chiefs though.
To death, bro.
I mean, yeah, no, I never have any interest in seeing these people again. Now, real quick, if you are since you do enjoy a good wrestling product,
yeah,
can I get you on Wednesday nights to make a commitment and come check us out on Evolve on Tubi? Can you come check out what we're doing with the, your boys? Your boys doing play-by-play on Evolve, right?
Free app. You don't even need an account.
Free app on Tubi. Like tonight, you could literally go watch our first, I think we're up to 8 or 9 episodes that we've done so far.
I think
Skip to the last few. You don't need to start on the first one. You know what I mean? But it's a really, I'm extremely biased, but it is a really fun, short, old school feeling wrestling show. Like it's just wrestling. You're just getting to see, and but the kids they have, because they have these kids from the ID program. So it's straight up indie people wrestling who have had long indie careers, who have now under the WWE umbrella and get to have matches, plus with kids who are training at the PC. But some of the ID people they have are, they're damn good. I mean, you might have seen 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks ago that Swipe Right was on NXT SGG?
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. They I forget who they competed against. I think it was Fraxium they fought.
Yeah, it was Fraxium.
They fought the Chips.
So yeah, I mean, listen, I publicly can't say anything positive about Swipe Right because on TV we don't get along, but they're incredible. These kids have a lot of potential. So if you get a chance, and I'd love your personal feedback because the product. I've been working it out. I'm like, I'm sure week 1 would make me cringe at this point, but I think I'm coming along here, man.
Absolutely, bro. What time do we come on?
8:00. Every new episode drops 8:00 Wednesdays on Tubi, but then they're just there. The full show is just up 8:00 on Wednesdays.
All right, I'll gladly check it out.
Yeah, but give us a shot. You know what I mean?
After I hit my AEW Dynamite, you guys know how much I love AEW.
You know what? And I
got a podcast to sell, baby.
By the way, so everyone, all the big AEW people, after you finish Dynamite, it's sitting there waiting for you. And it's light, it's short, it's a little 45 minutes.
It's a nice palate cleanser, a nice little,
as Dipperstein would say, the perfect thing to watch while you're brushing your teeth that night. You know what I mean? Just like while you're toning the night down, but you need a little more wrestling in your life. Perfect way out. In case there's any freaks here who don't know about your podcast, give a quick plug for the fastest moving, fastest growing podcast in the wrestling sphere, not the manosphere.
Yeah, yes, sir, man. The No Contest Wrestling Podcast. Me and my tag team partner TJ Jefferson. We are a part of the Rich Eisen Show umbrella, his network of podcasts. We're available on YouTube on the Rich Eisen Show channel, and we're available wherever you listen to podcasts. We were every Wednesday, but for about a month or two, we've been doing Mondays. We will eventually get back to Wednesdays, but right now you can catch us every Monday. We just did our WrestleMania recap. We got to do part 2 next Monday, unless we get a guest that you just can't ignore. We got some pretty good people lined up, but it's been real fun. The people have been real, just accepting of the pod, getting a lot of shout outs from that. The pod is one of the reasons why I was able to do TNA this last weekend. I didn't know they were going to put me on the live pre-show. That was wild.
Oh, they just threw you on the pre-show for the pay-per-view at TNA?
Yeah. Listen, when Tommy Dreamer is like, hey, you going to do it? I'm like, yep. All right, for sure. But,
by the way,
hopped on there, killed it.
Highlight of my weekend. I forgot to tell you this, SGG. Where did I leave from? LaGuardia? Nothing like going to the Delta Lounge at LaGuardia and just running into Tommy Dreamer at the egg station. You know what I mean? Like, it was, for some reason, it was just so funny seeing the innovator of violence getting himself a little quiche from the Delta Sky Club.
I gotta say, I wouldn't have pegged Tommy Dreamer as a lounge person at the airport, but I'm glad that at this era of his career, this stage of life, he has decided that he is a lounge guy. Because I'm definitely a lounge guy, and after all he put himself through, he deserves to be a lounge guy.
Get some rest, Tommy. Yeah. So the No Contest. I really started the pod because, number one, Rich had the idea that, he wanted to fill out his network with channels. TJ Jefferson, who actually is on the Rich Eisen Show, he's always talking about wrestling. He's always bringing up wrestling on the show, and those guys don't know nothing about wrestling. So when it came time to make up some podcasts, he was like, we got to do a wrestling show. And when it came to Rich being like, all right, so who do you think would co-host with you? My man TJ is the one that suggested me, so I'm forever grateful to my tag team partner because he sees me on Twitter doing it for free all the time.
Exactly. You're giving it away.
So when what scared me, dude, like the acting thing, that's still my first job, and they treat me well, where they know, like, we know at any time you could have to go film something for months, and they made the pod accessible for me to be able to do it remotely. But which is also cool to be like, yeah, I'm kicking it with Gerard Butler today. But so when I was doing film, it was just at any time, we could go on strike and I'm out of a job for 7 months until they tell me I can work again. And I didn't like that. So it was, when it came time to do a wrestling pod, it was like I chose that because wrestling has no off season. It'll always have something for me to do every week. And then I realized, yeah, I'm gonna have to do this every week for the rest of my life. So no contest forever, guys.
I know. Sometimes I am like, this never ends, huh?
Yeah, it's just every week. Yep.
Shout out to Triple H who kept bringing that up during Mania weekend too. He's like,
it never ends. No off season.
Right,
I will tell you this, guys. I swear to you, if one day, if this Evolve thing goes really well and I move up and one day they're like, you know what, Peter, we want you to be like on one of the main shows every week. I think that will be I'm not saying we retire it permanently, but we'll become like a monthly hangout. While I can't,
Yeah.
I don't think I could do. You know what? Let's cross that bridge when we come to it. Look, I can't even commit to that.
Exactly.
I can't even commit to that.
The weekly thing is why I can even like they even give us guests and not, like Chris Van Vliet. I get a Van Vliet every month, every 2 weeks, an episode. But being the weekly pod, like WWE likes that because they can just boost people up all the time. So
yeah, there's an opportunity there. And actually, you know what? Maybe it'll be the opposite. Maybe if that happened to SGG, I'd quit my other jobs so I could just do that.
You quit all 80 other jobs.
Yeah, it's a lot. It'll take time. You got to give me a few weeks just for the phone calls. By the way, O'Shea, we appreciate you. And there was a moment when I was going to say something, and then the radio brain in me said, "Oh, you got to just tell him to do this." When I almost said to you, "Touche, O'Shea," and then
Yes.
I went, that should be a segment on his podcast. I don't know what it is, but Touche, O'Shea should be something for something. We appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what, but I was like, this is some radio show. I'm good at dumb alliteration or alliteration adjacent things. Thanks for jumping in for us, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely, no problem. You can call me at any time. You're the first person to put me on media with my wrestling takes, so I always got your back.
We appreciate that, bro. SGG, stay mage. We'll do a watch along sometime soon.
Oh yeah, and take it easy, everybody.
Take it easy.